false Christs and false prophets, deceiving many.
I have faith that the Constitution will not be saved in Washington.
The Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints is losing a record number of its membership.
In the coming day, Jesus Christ will return to the earth as the millennial Messiah, or the second coming. Do you see what is happening right before our eyes? Second coming of the Lord. Jesus Christ will govern from Old Jerusalem and the New Jerusalem, built upon the American continent.
1. The Savior will return to the earth in power and great glory to reign personally during a millennium of righteousness and peace. 2. At the time of his coming, there will be a destruction of the wicked and a resurrection of the righteous. 3. No one knows the time of his coming.
For the first time, we have an idea now of how much the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints Big Investment Fund performed over the course of a year.
That fund is called Ensign Peak Advisors, and Fox 13 News investigative reporter Nate Carlisle found the public document showing how many billions of dollars it gained in 2020.
Over the last year, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints has been more forthcoming about how it's investing tithing money. This latest filing with the Securities and Exchange Commission shows that despite the economic downturn of the pandemic, the church's big investment fund made money. This filing with the SEC shows the holdings of Ensign Peak Advisors at the end of 2020. When added all up, it shows the fund gained more than $6 billion in one of the most difficult financial years in American history.
The mandate given by the First Presidency and the presiding bishopric is to only focus on financial growth. EPA employees are told that the money will be used after the second coming of Jesus Christ or during Armageddon right before he would come again.
The rising generation will become the nurturers of the generation to follow. The multiplier effect will produce a miracle. It will spread and grow over time. And the Lord's kingdom on earth will be prepared and ready to greet him with shouts of Hosanna. There will be peace on earth.
Travis Wayne Goodsell. It is day number 1 of the House of Israel Feast of Tabernacles in 1 Kings chapter 12. Because it's the House of Israel, it is not on the Jewish calendar. So, from the law of the Jews. Stanford, if you're listening, haven't heard from you in a while. I've got an addition for the Sons of Levi. That's the coming up video for you. Because of the Feast of Tabernacles for the House of Israel, I was able to obtain more information on this for you. So I'll do a separate video next. Deuteronomy is the law of the Jews. In the Jewish author's work called the Book of Matthew, the Jewish Christ of a future time, named Jesus, because he's the reverse of Isaiah, there is him talking about the law. I have not come to destroy the law, but to fulfill it. This is what he's referring to as the Book of Deuteronomy. The Book of Deuteronomy was written by the Qumran community. The Ten Commandments is the Ten Commandments of the Jews, about the Jewish Christ, of the Jewish religion, who is to come in the future. So, when anybody speaketh in the name of the Lord, Deuteronomy 18, verse 22, after 21, how shall you know the word which the Lord hath not spoken by Christians, or by Islam, or by the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints? When a prophet speaketh in the name of the Lord, if the thing follow not. They're talking about prophecy. Prophets prophesy by predicting the future. If the prophecy does not happen, nor come to pass, that is the thing which the Lord hath not spoken. But the prophet hath spoken it presumptuously, that shall not be afraid of him. He is a false prophet. And this comes after talking about the prophet of the Jews, the man like Moses, verses 15 to 19. And Joseph Smith talks about him. We're Jewish, aren't we, Mormons? We would not be deceived by false prophets telling us about Christian Jesus that Joseph Smith says is abominable in verse 19 of his first vision, would you? That's exactly what we're going to be talking about. So, the author of Matthew quotes from the law. Kind of has to. All Jews have to. The law is about the Jewish Christ who is coming in the future. All Jews tell their stories about the man like Moses. So Matthew uses Jesus as the name of the man like Moses because of the prophecies of Isaiah that conforms to the law of the Jews. And so even though it's Jesus, even though it's Moses from Exodus, even though it's Samson, even though it's Noah, even though it's Joseph of Egypt, even though it's Samuel, even though, they're all the same person. The future Jewish Christ, whom Isaiah says, as well as the law, if it were to be translated correctly, is Emmanuel, the sun god of the Egyptians at noonday. So guess what that means, Mormons? The Book of Mormon is not literal history. It's as it says it is, the learning of the Jews. So Lehi, Nephi, Alma, Mosiah, Moroni, Mormon, they're all the future Jewish Christ. So it's not another testament of Jesus Christ. We now know the false prophet. Matthew chapter 7 verse 15. Beware of false prophets, which come to you in sheep's clothing, but inwardly they are ravening wolves. You shall know them by their fruits. The so-called self-titled prophets, seers, revelators, not translators, do not claim to have the powers. They have an official statement. We will not prophesy or predict the future of the days and hours of the latter days. That's denying the power. It is blatantly obvious. They have confessed they are false prophets. They only claim the titles. They will not predict the future. They will not give you the day and the hour. And yet, somebody did in October conference, didn't he? Section 107, verses 91 and 92. And again, the duty of the president of the office of the high priesthood is to preside over the whole church. This is Joseph Smith. And to be like unto Moses, the Jewish Christ. The head of the church is the office of the Christ for Mormons. So Brigham Young with the keys of only Peter, James, and John? Yeah, no. False prophet alert. How many of you have fallen for it? Good for you for leaving, but you still don't know the real church. You still think that Joseph Smith is as Brigham Young said he was, Christian. Apparently you don't know a liar when you hear him, even though you left the church because the church lied to you. See the damage this church does to you guys? Even when you leave, you're still left in the dark. And so you're supposed to judge the president of the church or anybody claiming to be the head of the church by their fruits, not their titles, their fruits of seer, revelator, translator, and prophet, because those gifts belong to the head of the church and no one else. A seer has visions, like Joseph Smith. Visions, dreams. They're in your head. They're not literal histories. Revelator, that's the day and the hour that no man knoweth but the Jewish authors who put it in there. So yeah, a Christian came back to the Jewish author's work after the first creed of Christianity and wrote it in. Translator of Paleo-Hebrew, pre-Babylonian captivity Egyptian. Thus Egyptian also. Hey, they are dead languages. Jean Champollion, he deciphered the learning of the Greeks in the language of the Egyptians from the Rosetta Stone. That's it. They're imposing Greek phonemes upon Egyptian. That's why they're only able to translate text. They have no clue how to translate the bigger pictures of the picture scenes. Look it up for yourself. We've got 3 facsimiles in the Book of Abraham. Use Egyptian, use Sir Alan Gardner's sign list. It's on Wikipedia. You can check for yourself. Go through every larger picture. See if you can find them all. And you won't. Egyptologists do not know how to translate the learning of the Egyptians in the language of the Egyptians. So you need to find somebody who can, and he will have those gifts. He will be the head of your church, Mormons. You need to find him. Hurry. Day one. Hurry. Hurry. The false prophet has been exposed. Oh, there we go. Yeah, I already had it on there. So why are you staying in the church then, Mormons? I just told you. Do you not believe the scriptures? Because I said it? You have to try to figure out some other way to prove the church is true? They're desperately looking for some Mormon apologist to tell you how they're still true? Because you don't believe the Word of God? Do you not see how absurd you are? Nelson, at the Pulpit of October conference, said, and I've been using his quote, from the day he said it. And Mormons didn't find out till a month later, because they went on vacation for conference. They don't listen to the words of the prophets. They go to social media to hear what other people say. A month later, people are going, holy crap, Jesus is coming. In a coming day, the second coming of Jesus. What has this church been telling you as false prophets concerns the second coming of Jesus? One, Adam. He's gonna coup the government. Well, there was a peaceful transfer of authority from Biden to Trump. I don't see any violent coup this year. Don't get me started on AI. Oaks, I guess he's a false prophet too. He got leaked by a Little Sister missionary in 2020. Oaks says that the coup was a test run for the coming of Jesus in 2024. Is he a false prophet? Or is there something else going on? Yeah, there it is, Mormons. Look for that other thing that's going on. I dare you. You're brand new. You don't know my videos, do you? Don't get me started on AI. So that's what it means. Both Nelson and Oaks said Jesus is coming for this election. That's what the second coming is all about. Adam on Diamond. The government of the United States of America handed over to Jesus, not Trump. And both Nelson and Oaks got busted by the law of the Jews, exposed as false prophets. Because Trump isn't Jesus. Don't get me started on AI. Because there's something else going on. Those of you who've been watching know about Thomas B. Marsh. So yeah, Joseph Fielding Smith Sr., Adam on Diamond. The government was supposed to be handed over to Jesus, the second coming. Nobody's supposed to know about it though, but the government was supposed to belong to Jesus. Trump is now made president. Don't get me started on AI. Don't do it. Oaks came out, said Jesus' second coming for 2024's election. Didn't happen. It's not Jesus. Nelson, likewise, October conference. Second coming of Jesus, which means the election. Didn't happen. No Jesus, just Trump. I dare you to be Christian, Mormons, because Christians think that Trump is the representative for Jesus' will. Oops, Brigham Young set a trap. Yeah, Fox News. You guys watch Fox News, don't you? Yeah, don't you believe them? Trump has been resurrected. The biggest comeback ever. It's the second coming of Trump. They're using the words. Why aren't you, Mormons? Oh, right. Your Jesus is non-Trinitarian. He has a separate body from Heavenly Father, as tangible as man's. A body of flesh and bone. So it can't be Trump, like Christians can claim it's Trump. Don't get me started on AI. Don't get me started. Do you see the danger you are in, Mormons? Nelson and Oaks prophesied of the second coming of Jesus for the 2024 election, and Jesus failed to show, exposing them as false. Why will you still go to church tomorrow? Why are you going to continue to pay them money, especially with their light of the world that they started early again, and they expanded it so that more people can pay the church? It's a charity scam, like everything else that the church takes your money for. You know a false prophet by their fruits. They are not good men. They are liars and deceivers. Jesus failed to show. So now are you going to curl up in a ball and repeat over and over again, the church is true, the church is true, the church is true? Your spiritual witness feelings that they told you to have in violation of the scriptures about running tests to confirm the word as true or false, so that you may know a false prophet led you astray. That's why they led you astray, Mormons. They're false. So all the commandments they give you, yeah, they're holding you in bondage. Hey, Joseph Smith prophesied of this. Joseph Smith is a true prophet. Go figure. These imposters lied about Joseph Smith. So now we know the forged documents of Brigham Young. Yeah, the one about polygamy. Oh, the one about the name of the church. Yeah, Adam on Diamond. Yeah, nope, not Joseph's. Section 119 on tithing, not Joseph's either. Because you didn't test Joseph's word as the learning of the Jews. You used Christian interpretation on them. So that one forged document about Joseph prophesying that he will see Jesus' second coming when he's 85. Oh, dear God. Now, Joseph said the Jewish Christ is coming to Mormons to start his ministry on the 23rd of September, 2017. Joseph Smith translation, Revelation chapter 12, verses 1 to 3, because verse 5 gets moved to verse 3. He knows the day and the hour. So did he come? How will you know? Dear God, please tell me you know now. The Jewish Christ is Messiah ben David by title. His name is Emmanuel, Son God. That's his surname. See, back then they had one name and they were the son of somebody. And so, a name, son of, a name of the father. Females were a name, daughter of the father. Because it's the father's seed. The egg of a woman does not determine sex. The seed does. And so children are from the father. So it's important to have monogamy. It's important not to steal somebody else's wife. Now you can understand the scriptures better. And so the Jews don't just have him. They also have Messiah ben Joseph of Egypt. And the Book of Mormon, because it's Jewish, not Christian, it's not another testament of Jesus Christ, it is in the learning of the Jews. So 2 Nephi chapter 3, verse 5. We see the Jewish Christs, the forerunner who is supposed to set up the order that has been lost in apostasy. He is supposed to set up the temple rituals for washing and anointings so that the Messiah ben David will come through Mormon, the Messiah ben Joseph's religion. So yes, Joseph Smith Jr. set up the ancient order of the pre-Babylonian captivity Jewish Egyptians, not Jesus's Roman period fraud from the first creed of Christianity 300 years later. You cannot go back in time and say, hey, this now has to change. It's called revisionist history. It's an abominable practice of Christian religions, because that's what the first creed of Christianity did. It revised the prophecies and revelations of the Jews concerning their Christ and turned them Christian, just like Brigham Young did to Joseph Smith in the Book of Mormon. Abominable. And so, Messiah ben Joseph is also supposed to be murdered and insurrected. just like Brigham Young did. So the Messiah, Ben David, will come through the insurrecting religion to restore yet again what needs to be restored. Set in order the temple. Section 85, verse 7, the one mighty and strong, which is from the law of the Jews. Deuteronomy 18:15. He's the first commandment for Mormons. Thou shalt not have Jesus as the Christ. Thou shalt not have Allah as the Christ. Joseph Smith says, a Mormon is your Christ. Joseph Smith History, the second vision, not literal history, verse 40. He's quoting from Acts, which is quoting from Deuteronomy. That prophet is your Christ. You need to hearken to him, Mormons. Oh no, because he's the true prophet, seer, revelator, and translator. And you will know him by his fruits. So 2 Nephi chapter 3 verse 5. Here it is, your Christ. Joseph of Egypt truly saw our day as a seer. Repeated here. And he obtained a promise of the Lord that out of the fruit of his loins, the Lord God would raise up plagiarism from the law of the Jews, Messiah, a righteous branch unto the house of Israel. Hey, it's the house of Israel's first day of the Feast of Tabernacles for the Exodus to Zion. If only there was a Mormon who believed it. Oops, utterly destroyed at his coming. That is the warning, Mormons. If you don't believe in him, you're not going to listen to him, you won't be saved. You need to find him. Hurry, it's day one. It's still frustrating because there's time that needs to be done. The government one is already on number 3. It's the religion one we're waiting for. Okay? And so he's not Messiah ben Joseph, or David. He's Messiah ben Joseph, who is to prepare the way, to be remembered in the covenants of the Lord, that Messiah ben David should be manifest unto Mormons in the latter days. Messiah ben David comes after Messiah ben Joseph. The Mormon Christ comes after Joseph Smith, not the Roman period time. There's no way to try to merge Christianity with Judaism. Christianity is exposed as a fraud. Islam exposed as a fraud. The Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints exposed as frauds. Only the Jewish interpretation. That is your test. So you think you're a Travis, huh? Did you run the test? Seriously. Have I been predicting the future for you? Yeah. Go to my home page, then click over to the video tab, then click on popular. Oh, there it is. Almost 40,000, huh? Where are those 40,000 viewers, YouTube? You weren't using algorithms, were you? To eventually be hooked up with AI? Are those real views, YouTube? I told you not to get me started on AI. So where are the 40,000 viewers who learned that I am a prophet with the gifts? They happened. Because it's not just the solar eclipse that I prophesied of and happened on the 21st of August 2017. I also put in the 23rd of September 2017 from Revelation. And yeah, the video quality is much poorer than today, unless I get cyber attacked by the terrorist Mormon who's upset that his church is false and he can't come to grips with it, so he attacks me instead. His Christ, he's attacking me rather than running the test to find out if I am true. He won't run the test to find out that Nelson and Oaks have been exposed as false. Are you the same way? So what about Seer? Yeah, if you'd been following for a while, you'd at least see this year where I had, after 9/11, an Irene dream where he transfers authority to me. He's not the president of the church, but the number 15 popped up twice. That's for the Feast of Tabernacles, because it's on the 15th day of the first month. But for this one of the House of Israel, it's the 15th day of the second month of the civil calendar. Day 1. This is the 15th day of the Jewish calendar, which the House of Israel didn't use the Jewish calendar, but it's today, according to 1 Kings chapter 12. So they don't start it at 6 p.m. last night. They were taken hostage by Assyria, technically deported rather than taken captive like the Babylonians did to Judah. So there are some distinctions. That's why I have some more information for the sons of Levi offering an offering in righteousness for Stanford. And so yeah, my Hinckley dream, when I was just like Joseph of Egypt. The number 77 and 88 with the transfer of authority. And then in 2016, 8 plus 8 is 16, 88. And I'm in a tent, Feast of Tabernacles. The double tabernacles. And so yes, in 2016, yesterday's video, thanks to the added knowledge of the 1 Kings chapter 12, Feast of Tabernacles of the House of Israel, I saw also that 2016 also was the start So Monson's dream coincided with 2016's Feasts of Tabernacles. And theirs was a direct day month. It's just that on 2016, it was Wednesday to Wednesday, I believe. This year it's Sabbath to Sabbath of the Jews of Judah who were captured by Babylon. Again, the house of Israel is different, but this is why the Jewish Christ is Lord over the Sabbath day. Okay, so prophet and seer, revelator, days and hours. Yeah, gave you the hours. All these years gave you the days and hours. Astronomy is a precise timekeeper, using the stars to make your predictions is the perfect timekeeper piece. Solar eclipses are awesome for revealing prophecies. Revelation chapter 12 verse 1 in the Joseph Smith translation, sign in the heaven in the likeness of things on the earth, prophecy and revelation. And so solar eclipses give you my full name, he who is from the crossroads of the sun god on the Wagoneer. Travis Wayne Goodsell, Godsoul, sun god, from the British Druids. The same ones who created the prophecy about St. Patrick being me, with his death date for solar eclipses being my birth date. St. Patty's Day. Look at the Irish to you, laddie. Joseph Smith knew too. When did women get the priesthood? What's so important about women? Who now have their rights gone forever. Because the government's on number 3. The fall, the transfer of authority, the exodus, which is going to be mass deportation for the government, and then Zion, which is going to be neo-Nazi America. Those Nazis we liberated from World War II are thanking their American liberators by coupping our government. With the help of a certain group from Missouri at Adirondack calling themselves true Mormons, the Danites. Don't get me started on AI. Right, YouTube. So, translator. Go to my academia.edu page. You can learn Paleo Hebrew for yourself. Oh, look. There's a book exposing how Ezekiel 37 is to be done. That means I also have the key of Nephi, that Joseph Smith corrects the name in 27 verse 5. Doctrine and Covenants. It's not Moroni, it's Nephi. Willard Richards thought he would pull a fast one on you and switch it to Moroni so that he can justify putting in Jesus Christ in the name of Joseph's church. False prophet alert. False prophet alert. So, keys of Moses. Do I have them? Have I done what Moses was to have done? So, giving you the date of 600 years from the time Lehi left Jerusalem, which was exactly 20 years to the day for the death sign of me, 8 April 2024. Therefore, the Exodus, being 50 years from my birth, the Jubilee year of the Jews, that's the Exodus. Hey, Oak said that was going to be the test run for the second coming of Jesus for the 2024 election, of which he was proven wrong. So was 2020 the Exodus? Did I sue the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints? Sure did. Twice. Did I demonstrate my authority as a prophet, seer, revelator, translator, and the keys of the gathering of Mormons? Yeah. Was there a drought? Yeah. Did I part the waters? Sure did. The whole Green River exit. And Fox 13 News Utah. The Green River has dried up. I was impressed by that. Have there been 3 days of darkness over the United States of America? Sure have, and they form the first and last letters of the Paleo-Hebrew alphabet. Thus, even the alphabet is prophecy and revelation, giving you the days and the hours. Hey, it's the word for sign in heaven for the Jews. Isaiah uses it for my coming on the 23rd of September 2017. Genesis uses it for the signs of the latter days of my coming. Jeremiah uses it talking about Christmas trees. And so, did stars fall from heaven? They sure did. Was there creeping death? There sure was. You see, in 2014 and 2015, we had what you only knew of as the Tetrad and Perry Packer Scott die. That was the pre-show for you, Mormons, that I was coming. Because in 2015, the lunar eclipses happened on Passover and Tabernacles, the Exoduses. You were being warned by the signs in the heavens with the deaths of Perry, Packer, and Scott. I'm coming. Look for me. Know me by my fruit. And then in 2015, the solar eclipses, actually 2014, 2015, were all on Passover and Tabernacles. But 2015, the solar eclipses that corresponded with it, sun shall be darkened, moon turn to blood, stars fall from heaven, happened on haven't made the transfer yet? Where are you? They happened on the first day of the Jewish calendar years, religious and then civil. This last year, the solar eclipses happened on the last day of the Jewish calendar years. This is the last year of the latter days. The latter days are over with. Everything is done. Everything has been fulfilled. I've been going over all the videos with you all these years, explaining it to you, teaching you, informing you, warning you, helping you to reveal who I am, to test me by my fruits. And you rejected it. You denied it. You're waiting for Jesus. The prophets have now been exposed as frauds, and you're still waiting for Jesus. Oops. And so at the end of 2015, I would then get married to Delilah in room number 13 of the Philistine temple, have our wedding supper feast at the Lion House next to the Beehive House. She would then go on to betray me and cut my hair right before the start of it all. I was hoping that she would be my shield and a protection to me against the power of the destroyer until I have finished my work on the earth. The real underwear is your wife. So she stripped me. On porn. That was also your other clue, that they are so obsessed with porn to distract you away from the, dear God, the prostitution of women in this church and the sex trafficking at the BYUs. And they're wanting to bring back child bride polygamy, and you don't see the dangers. Dear God, people. Dear God. So, yeah, this whole latter days, this is a chart for you to summarize it all up. And yeah, it's very long, and so you have to have a very big screen TV to see it. Or you can just scroll in, whatever it's called, to read it. But yeah, this is the whole latter days for this thing here. And I'm the only one who gave it to you. Nobody else knew. There was a Lewis who did a picture about the solar eclipse and how it all, yeah, he stole it from me. He didn't give me credit. He can do it, I don't mind, but he just needs to acknowledge, hey, from learning from Travis Wayne Goodsell, from his academia page, here's my version of the events that he gave us. And he didn't. He tried to take the credit for himself. Shame on you, Lewis. Shame. So anybody that comes around saying that Paleo-Hebrew uses suffix determinatives, for example, or prefix determinatives, yeah, they got it from me. I deciphered it. Samson, Shemesh, his son. The N at the end is a suffix determinative for king, because it's a guy. If it's a kingdom, then it would be for a kingdom. Salem is Jerusalem. Solomon is the king of Salem. I told you about that. David Moses III goes up against the Hittites in the valley of Har Megiddo for Armageddon 1. And then in the midst of the war, he steps on the Mount of Salem to go on vacation. And then thereafter, they would build the temple, they would build the palace, they would build the throne, and thus the first king of Salem be the king of Salem, Solomon. But the prophecies of Solomon, aka me, use that. But the story of David and Bathsheba producing Solomon was not a literal history, but they used the actual history for the prophecy of me, Messiah ben David. Solomon is Messiah ben David of prophecy, not literal history. And so, yeah, they're still digging to try to find the first king of Salem. They're only able to go back to around pre-700s. They're having trouble finding David at the spot. It's right there in the Egyptian documents, guys. David Moses III from the 18th dynasty that had the Amun priesthood. He was the guy that set it all off. So it's okay. You have claim to the land. Islam doesn't. Just trust the history. It's okay. Doesn't have to be your Christianized version of it. So yeah, you're supposed to save Mormons, not the Jews. But if he were given government power, he would save the Jews. He'd heal the nations. But he's only for the Jews, or the Mormons. That's it, that's all. And Mormons don't believe. So yeah, you should have known me by my fruits.